as well with Wissam from the Bank of Scotia, Scotiabank, Wissam Selman, regional manager. And Wissam, as we met earlier this afternoon, I told him, you know, when I first came to Canada 14 years ago, I was very fortunate to have a Welcome to Canada banking package at zero cost. That was not the case when my brother came 3 years earlier to the nation's capital. And I know this is a field that you lead at Scotiabank. I want you to hear your reflections on how much of that service that I know has been expanded to a number of major Canadian banks has become, you know, an important sector or business, you know, for your bank and for your company, serving newcomers, especially in those early months and years in the country. What's up, please?
So thank you very much. My voice is very loud here. Thank you very much, especially the guests here in this panel. These are very interesting topics that I work every day, and these are some of the questions we reflect every day as well. So the landscape of the banking industry, especially when it comes to newcomers, has changed tremendously through the years, especially since I came. So just to put you in context, the historic context of the newcomers, in 2007 we took the bet on newcomers, the bank. We introduced our program called Start Right for Newcomers. In French is Bon Début. The reason why was newcomers, and you were talking about that gap to integrate them, and that's exactly it. So they would come in the country and they don't start at the same level as established Canadians. So they want to, for example, take a loan, but the bank would say you need a credit bureau. So how do I get a credit bureau? You need a credit card. So how do I get a credit card? Well, you need a credit bureau. So that question arose, and there was a significant problems with newcomers, and that slowed their progress down. And there was barriers with getting a house early, car early, transportation. So that gap slowed newcomers' integration into the Canadian system. So by integrating a program, creating a program that helped newcomers I'm thinking in French.
Vas-y en français, c'est pas de souci.
Pour atteindre leur but financier, finalement, plus rapidement. We took that bet and it was very successful, to a point where we really didn't imagine the success of it. So we discovered that newcomers pay their bills way better than established Canadians. So their delinquency on credit cards was very low. We discovered that they're more loyal to the bank as well. They get more products, they deposit more money, they create more businesses. So all these success stories prove that newcomers, they come in, and by giving them the tools, the bank would benefit. And then obviously a lot of other banks have followed, and the program evolved. A couple of years after, there was a large migration of international students. We work with College and Institute Canada and Global Affairs to create introduce the GIC program, where it's mandatory for newcomers to get a GIC to come to immigrate as an international student. It became a pre-requirement for college students, and we were the first bank to bet on it as well for many years. Very successful. Now it's open for all the banks. But the reality is, betting on newcomers was very beneficial for our institution. And I think, especially for us, Scotiabank, who is the most international of all the banks here in Canada, we also do take pride in helping newcomers establish themselves faster in the community. And we all benefit from it. The community benefit from it, businesses benefit from it, so it all comes back at the end to everybody. So then the program evolves to a point where the bank have also invested, not just for newcomers as a client base, but more also as an employee base. So we created programs within the bank. the Groupe Ressources des Employés with different communities. So we have Latino community, the Arab community, so that they can feel empowered, so that they can help each other also grow, since people from different communities have the same challenges within our institution. And on the philanthropic side, we also created Scotia Rise, Scotia Inspire, which is a commitment for $500 million jusqu'en 2030 to help students obtain graduation and post-secondary education, post-secondary education, to also help newcomers integrate the community faster, and also help remove barriers for career progress for les personnes défavorisées. Sorry, my English and French. So, on many fronts, the bank has invested in newcomers, whether it's within, on the philanthropic side, on the client side, and it was a very successful. And we encourage all the businesses as well to bet on newcomers, because I think this is unlike some perceptions that we get from the media, I guess, and especially in the world stage right now. Newcomers are big contributors to the growth of this country, and whether financial institution, college and institution as well, small businesses, betting on newcomers, helping them integrate the system faster, we all benefit from it. So that's it. So that's the story of the Start Right program here at Scotiabank.
Well, thank you so much. I'm sure we can tap into some of those programs now. Then, of course, feel free to ask a question to Wissam as we progress with our presentation. Dr. Ghosh, you come originally from a economic powerhouse, India. Now, taking or being Ottawa, Canada home. You've had a successful career in India. How do you really continue to keep those two countries in harmony as it pertains to your law practice, your international trade practice, and capitalizing your expertise in such an important economic powerhouse, kind of bringing that Canada-India relationships to your advantage, or to the advantage of your own business, the people around you?
Thank you, Carlo. Thank you, Carlo, and honorable guests. Well, I'm coming from a nation which is aiming itself to be projected as Vishish Bharat, a nation which is now having 4.8 trillion economy, which is the third largest economy in the world. Now, there we find about 19,500 mother tongues, people talking 19,500 different languages, 2,000 ethnic groups. So all of them are together. So so when I'm born in such a nation, I know how to move. I know how to move. So I had an opportunity also to work with Mother Teresa, and a good luck, you can say, to meet Arafat. So all these things made me. So I find it difficult because of the distance. I have to travel quite often from India to Canada, and I maintain office. So a lot of my work is from there, but very often I have to go back and do my duties there. Now, I'd like to extend a bit. Today's, I think, the topic is cold. The topic is cold. So what is needed is today what Canada needs is culmination of cultures. The cultures should culminate, crafting the best economy. Canada is bringing immigrants. Together with immigration, Canada is not only bringing, the person as a human resource, but Canada is also bringing a lot of potential. But Canada needs to make cohesion, which is most important, correlation and coordination of all the immigration. And it's only through that Canada can make a big leap in its economy. Canada should follow Indian economy. In India, you have the same multicultural structure. The structure is the same. It's much bigger, brother. It's much bigger. I told you, it's 19,500 mother tongue, 2,000 ethnic groups, and so much to know. And that's how we manage.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ghosh. Cohesion, and of course, coming from India, perhaps the world's most multicultural country in terms of languages and ethnic groups, kind of bringing that perspective is a good example that we have today in this room, where so many countries are represented. Well, I know to your left we have Marcela Martinez. Marcela, now not only your role, but you also bring that entrepreneurial role. And I know you've been advocating a lot to really bridge that gap, primarily among the Latin American community, not only in Ottawa, but also in Gatineau. What's been your learning since you've been really not only advancing as an entrepreneur, trying to find that ecosystem so that you continue to thrive, but also supporting fellow entrepreneurs coming from Latin America primarily to say, you have an option, you have an opportunity to thrive here.
Thank you so much, Javier. When I came here to Canada, I had the opportunity to create my own journal business. And I also had the opportunity to support Latino American entrepreneurs. I think that when we want to talk about entrepreneurs, we need to understand that there are two kinds of entrepreneurs. So we have entrepreneurs that come here to Canada, they have the resources, they have the knowledge, and they have the language, and they easily integrate to this economic ecosystem. But we also have entrepreneurs who didn't decide to become an entrepreneur. And I think that is the reason why we see a lot of restaurants, immigrant restaurants, not only here in Ottawa, but also in Gatineau. And maybe these immigrant entrepreneurs choose to open these restaurants because they were not able to get a job here, or maybe they didn't speak English or French. So I'm going to talk about these kinds of entrepreneurs. So yeah, here we have an amazing entrepreneurial ecosystem. We have community programs, we have access to funds, we have mentorship programs. But for these kind of entrepreneurs, accessing these resources, it's not always easy. Why? Because their main barriers are language and navigating the administrative system. So how can we support these entrepreneurs? In this sense, community is very important. Having groups that make them feel understood. So when they feel understood, they can easily integrate not only economically, but also culturally. We also need more bilingual support. We need peer-to-peer support. We need more spaces where they are able to network. So this is, it's not, I know it's very important to bring artificial intelligence. It's important to bring more funding, but I also want to ask you, especially you guys that can make a great difference in this group of entrepreneurs. Sometimes it's only about understanding the barriers of this population. Say that we need to create more access into learning languages. Because for this kind of entrepreneurs, the learning here takes longer. So please, I know that everyone is always talking about artificial intelligence, funding, and we are always thinking so. But please don't forget about these kind of entrepreneurs. Maybe having a business like this is their only opportunity to integrate to the economic Canadian ecosystem and bring a revenue for their family. Thank you.
Marcella, very powerful. Thank you for bringing that. Obviously, newcomers would really come, not as well with the best head start. And if there's, I'm sure folks in the room here can reflect on that language barrier that really can be a huge hindrance, obstacle for newcomers. They come with the wisdom, the expertise, the know-how. C'est qu'on dit en français, la débrouillardise. You know, we know how to get by, really, that entrepreneurial mindset. You find red tape, you find someone can help me get to land some potential credit or loan.